This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 1186 of Horse Tip Daily, your almost everyday morsel of helpful hints, useful facts, and practical techniques for horse folks. Brought to you today by horselovers.com. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today, CHA instructor Ann Brzezicki joins Christy Landwehr with some great exercises for improving balance in both horse and rider. And we'll get right to our tip after this from horselovers.com. Horselovers.com is your one-spot stop on the web for your holiday and winter show season shopping needs. Feeling spontaneous? Check out horselovers.com's flash sales for fantastic deals on popular items for horse, rider, or barn. In a quandary over what to get for your horse-loving friends? Horselovers.com has holiday shopping guides sure to inspire. Or do you just need to get away and recharge? Well, horselovers.com has that covered too. Go to horselovers.com/sweeps and enter to win an all-expense-paid vacation to Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, including a behind-the-scenes tour of Tri-Circle D Ranch, a Fort Wilderness trail ride, and so much more. Go to horselovers.com/sweeps today. That's horselovers, HORSELOVERZ.com/sweeps.
So you talk a lot about balance. Let's go ahead and jump right into what balance exercises do you like to give people? And this is so much fun for me because people that are driving right now and listening, or they're listening while they're cleaning their stalls, or whatever the case may be, can hopefully either memorize these or jot them down and be able to try them later on. So what are some of those exercises?
Well, I think first of all, you want to understand about balance, that the horse's balancers, his head and neck, are attached to our primary balancers, which are our arms, and that attachment through the reins can cause the horse a lot of difficulty because as the rider loses their balance, their natural reaction is to elevate their arms or stick their arms out to regain their balance, and that immediately is conducted to the horse's head and neck, so it interferes with their balance. So with that as a reason to try to make the rider more independent on the horse so that he doesn't impair the horse's balance, we do create a lot of exercises to develop the rider's balance. One other thing to remember is that balance and weight don't get tired. Muscles get tired. So if you have to use your muscles to hold you in position all the time, you're going to wear out pretty quick and not have the maximum effect that you could have over a longer duration on the horse. So riders who learn to balance over the horse in all kinds of different situations, like different types of turns and changes of gait, different kinds of maneuvers, they can save their muscle power for doing the real work of communicating and managing the horse instead of just having to hold themselves in position. So we start off early in a rider's education with things like good old standing position, which is different from two-point. You know, the standing position is going to be more vertical and have less of the rider's leg against the horse. And work like that develops balance over the rider's leg independently of using their arms to balance them. Then, sometimes we know that riders, even good riders, will lose a stirrup on an exercise. So let's practice that, because when a rider loses his stirrup, he loses his balance to some degree and has to react with his arms, and of course that interferes with the horse. So we do exercises like ask our riders to drop maybe their inside stirrup and circle each way so that what started off as their inside stirrup, then when they change direction, they've dropped their outside stirrup. And that's real easy to do with the walk. It's a little harder to do with the trot and the canter, but it's good practice for the riders learning how to manage their balance and their weight in the middle of the saddle with there being some changes in the horse. Then we'll get them to drop the other stirrup and circle each way. And that way they are challenged equally on both sides. You find out which is the weaker side. And of course, we know we should always practice the weaker side more. Some other exercises I like to use with my riders have to do also with counting strides and maintaining rhythm and helping the rider feel a consistent rhythm on the horse. For instance, post 2 strides and stand 2 strides. So that would look like, say, on a left circle, where the rider would be posting on the right diagonal. It would look like up, down, up, down, up, 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 down, and then repeat that. And if they count right and balance well, they'll come up on the correct diagonal again every time. And then instructors can vary that. You can add the up strides, you can add in some sitting strides. Another one that comes out of that would be post for 5 strides, sit for 5 strides, post for 5 strides, take a 2-point position for 5 strides, post for 5 strides, canter for 10 strides, so that we encourage changes in balance in the horse and the rider, so that the rider learns how to expect those changes and adjust and maintain their stability in the middle of the horse.
And I just love that, because you're absolutely right. If you can ride with just one stirrup, then you're probably going to be okay if you drop both. But normally when you drop both, it's a lot easier because your balance is the same on either side. So doing those types of exercises is just super. And for those that are listening that ride primarily Western, remember, you can post in a Western saddle. I know in the horse show world you don't, but when people check fence and when people are warming up in a reining pattern and getting the horse to trot before they canter and what have you, they do a lot of posting. So a lot of these things you can do in either seat, which is nice too. So Anne, what about at the canter? Do you have anything in particular that you like to do for balance at the canter?
You bet. Posting to the canter is a great exercise that really helps get the rider down in their leg and get their balance centered over their leg within a few strides. Posting to the canter isn't easy. It's an up 1 stride, down 1 stride sequence. The horse's back doesn't help you by lifting you out of the saddle. You have to do it all yourself. But it is a wonderful exercise for rebalancing the rider quickly. It also has the advantage of helping the horse to open up his stride and go forward pretty quickly as well. So sometimes when you get on your horse, maybe you've been waiting at the in gate and you've got to go in and perform right away. He's a little half awake or just not limbered up very well. That exercise for a few strides can make a huge difference for both the horse and the rider.
And this is all so good because you're absolutely right. All these different exercises can build so much confidence, whether you horse show, whether you go down the trail, whether you do whatever you do with your own particular horse. So thank you for being on today. How do we find more information about MTSU and yourself? Is there a website people can find you on?
There is. And I would suggest going first to the MTSU Horse Science Program Facebook page, and under the little map on the left, you'll find the link to the programs in horse science.
There you have it. You can find links to today's guest as well as lots more tips at horsetipdaily.com. This podcast was made possible through the generous support of horselovers.com and listeners like you. Learn how you can help support Horse Radio Network programming and qualify for auditors-only perks at horsetipdaily.com. Click on the Become an Auditor banner in the center of the page. This is Coach Jen, and I'll be back soon with another tip. Until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.